Why will Sweden think they can challenge almighty China? They have consistently challenged Russia without any significant problem. But challenging China is wrong. China is now the second largest economy in the world's largest rare earth material producer in the world. So when China sanctioned Sweden, their economy was greatly affected. Early 2020, Swedish battery manufacturers faced a sudden and alarming disruption. Their Chinese suppliers ceased selling them graphite, an essential component in lithium-ion batteries. Initially perceived as a temporary issue, this problem has persisted for over 3 years, significantly impacting the Swedish battery industry. Welcome to Inventive Insights, where we show technological inventions. Please subscribe, like, and share. In the face of the European Commission's recognition of the negative impact on Europe's battery production, a sector vital for the EU. Use green transition. We must consider the broader implications. The dependency on graphite, primarily sourced from China, has become a significant concern for the EU. Its ambitious environmental goals. China's decision to stop graphite exports to Sweden, while seemingly a targeted move, reflects a broader strategy in its international trade relations and industrial policy. This approach often intertwines with political motives and economic ambitions. In recent years, China has frequently used its trade policies as leverage in geopolitical disputes. This tactic has been evident in its relations with countries like Australia and the United States. The use of export restrictions, especially on critical minerals like rare earths, has been a tool to exert influence and retaliate against sanctions or political disagreements. For Sweden, a nation aspiring to be a leader in the burgeoning European battery industry, the implications are profound. The scarcity of graphite affects not only the... Please remember to subscribe and like this video. The scarcity of graphite not only affects costs, but also the feasibility of production. The industry in Sweden, still in its nascent stages, risks serious setbacks without a reliable supply of this crucial material. This situation highlights a vulnerability in the supply chain that could hinder progress in the field of renewable energy and battery technology. China's investment strategy in Europe further complicates this scenario. As Chinese companies increase their investments in battery and electric vehicle production across the continent, they simultaneously tighten control over essential raw materials. This dual approach of investment and resource control could reshape the competitive landscape in Europe's battery industry. 2022, Hungary witnessed a significant increase in graphite imports from China, coinciding with major investments by Chinese battery manufacturers in the country. This surge contrasts sharply with the situation in Sweden, raising questions about the strategic intentions behind China's export policy. Moreover, the entrance of Chinese companies into the European market, such as Putre's investment in Europe's largest anode plant, indicates a shift towards greater Chinese influence in the European battery supply chain. This development could have far-reaching effects on local industries and the broader strategic balance in the sector. Sweden and other European countries grapple with these challenges. There are growing concerns about the long-term implications for innovation and market competitiveness. The potential for increased costs and supply chain disruptions could impede the growth of Europe's battery industry, crucial for the continent's transition to renewable energy. In this context, the situation in Sweden serves as a case study for the broader challenges facing the European battery industry. The dependence on a single source for a critical raw material like graphite underscores the need for a diversified and secure supply chain. This necessity becomes even more pressing in light of the increasing geopolitical tensions and the strategic use of trade and resource control in international relations. As we move forward, it's essential to consider the following questions. How can European countries, including Sweden, diversify their sources of graphite to reduce dependency on China? What strategies can the European Union employ to secure a more resilient and self-sufficient battery supply chain? In what ways can international cooperation and partnerships contribute to mitigating the risks posed by concentrated supply chains in critical raw materials? These questions are not just relevant for policymakers and industry leaders, but also for anyone interested in the future of renewable energy and sustainable technology. The answers to these questions will shape the trajectory of the green transition, not just in Europe, but globally. The situation with China's graphite exports to Sweden is a complex issue with multiple layers. It involves international trade dynamics, geopolitical strategies, and the pressing need for sustainable energy solutions. As we navigate these challenges, a collaborative and strategic approach will be essential in ensuring a stable, sustainable, and competitive future for the battery industry and for the broader goal of a greener, more sustainable world. The evolving landscape of the global battery industry, particularly in light of the challenges faced by Sweden and other European nations, underscores a critical need for strategic planning and innovation. The reliance on graphite from China has exposed vulnerabilities in the supply chain that could have far-reaching consequences for the burgeoning green energy sector. One potential avenue for Europe is to explore alternative sources of graphite or even synthetic substitutes. This exploration could involve ramping up research and development into new materials that could either replace graphite or reduce the amount required in battery production. Such innovations could not only alleviate the dependence on external sources, but also potentially lead to more efficient and environmentally friendly battery technologies. Another key aspect to consider is the role of international cooperation in Europe. By collaborating with other regions and countries, could develop a more diversified and secure supply chain. This strategy might involve forming alliances with countries rich in natural resources or investing in mining, processing capacities in regions outside China. From a policy perspective, the European Union and its member states could look into developing strategic investments and trade agreements that prioritize resource security. This approach could include incentives for companies that invest in alternative materials or in the development of local supply chains. This situation offers an opportunity for Europe to align its economic and environmental goals. By focusing on sustainable and local sourcing of materials, the continent can reduce its carbon footprint while also strengthening its industrial base. This dual focus on sustainability and self-reliance can serve as a model for other regions and contribute to a more balanced and eco-friendly global economy. As we consider the implications of China's graphite export policies, it's essential to reflect on the broader impact these policies have on global efforts to combat climate change. The transition to renewable energy sources is a critical component of global climate strategies, and the battery industry plays a pivotal role in this transition. Disruptions in the supply chain, therefore, have consequences that extend beyond the immediate economic impact. The challenges faced by Sweden and the European battery industry, in light of China's export policies, present an opportunity to rethink and reshape the future of energy. By embracing innovation, fostering international cooperation, and pursuing strategic investments, Europe can navigate these challenges and emerge as a leader in the global transition to sustainable energy. As this presentation comes to a close, it's important to recognize that the graphite issue is more than just a trade dispute or an industrial challenge. It's a critical piece in the puzzle of our global efforts to build a sustainable future. The decisions made today, the strategies adopted, and the collaborations formed will have lasting effects on our collective ability to meet the environmental challenges of the 21st century. We value your interest in sharing your comment and subscribe to this channel for more content.